We spend a third of our lives sleeping. It's as important as eating, drinking, and breathing. Now, dreaming is an integral part of sleep. Everyone dreams, and you dream every night whether you remember it or not. It's one of the most intriguing and unique aspects of sleep. Why we dream is still a mystery. What we do know is that sleep and dreaming are both vital to our health. I'm Dr. Freddy Gomez. MedTalk Health Talk is your connection to healthcare. When you're awake, there is a certain logic to your thoughts. But when you sleep, your dreams make little to no sense. To explain this more, let's welcome Dr. Mark Anthony Santamaria. He's a neurologist from the Medical City. We also have John Carandang. He's a registered clinical psychologist and psychotherapist. Thank you both for joining us on this episode today. Now, before we talk about dreams, let's talk about sleep, or the lack of sleep, which can make you cranky and moody the next day. I'll start with Dr. Mark. How important is getting quality sleep every night?
What we need to establish first is that our body has what we call a body clock or a circadian rhythm, wherein 2/3 of the time we're awake and 1/3 of the time we're asleep. And sleep is very vital because it helps us, relax, rest, and kind of consolidate our memory and what happened during the day, so that we're going to be refreshed and rejuvenated for the next subsequent day. And it's important that you get adequate quality sleep to be able to achieve all these sleep functions.
Now, John, can you explain to our viewers, ano ba ang quality sleep?
The quality sleep or the sleep per se is really good for our mental health. Kailangan lang natin siyang i-spell out yung heal. Okay? First, we have to have more time for ourselves, para magkaroon tayo ng quality sleep. Meaning to say, this is also one of our self-care. Kailangan to para at least kahit paano makapagpahinga. It helps us to induce our environment, di ba? Kailangan mas magandang tulog, mas magandang lugar na pagtulog will also help for us sa quality sleep. Like total darkness, malambot na kama, or tahimik na lugar. Quality sleep helps us also to improve our attitude towards our relationship with others. A good quality sleep boosts your immune system, boosts your physical health, and as well as your mental health.
And one aspect of getting quality sleep also is dapat hindi ito napuputol because you want to get to those certain levels of sleep during the night. Now, these days, it's hard to get quality sleep. We worry a lot about what's going on around us. Now, one thing you can do is increase natural sunlight or bright light exposure during the day. Dr. Mark, can you explain how this helps us sleep better?
Part of a good circadian rhythm or the body clock is an adequate exposure to natural light or sunlight. Because light is the most important factor affecting sleep. With sunlight, when our body gets exposed to it, we get a certain hormone release in the body. We call it serotonin, and it helps at least process what we do in the day. And at the same time, this morning light will help normalize or shift the time for sleep earlier.
On the other hand, exposure to light during the evening can affect sleep. Blue light is very effective at inhibiting melatonin production, which can reduce both the quantity and quality of sleep. Dr. Mark, can you give us some tips on how our viewers can reduce exposure to blue light, especially at night?
Okay. So as you mentioned, blue light does reduce melatonin secretion, and melatonin is very important, very helpful for sleep. So we're always used to having gadgets or having a TV at our bedroom, and basically these gadgets, they emit blue light, and they can contribute to reducing melatonin secretion and contributing to poor sleep. Ideally, there's no TV, no cell phone, no mobile phones or anything, or if it can't be helped, then at least put them into sleep mode, or at least take some time off, like maybe an hour or 2 hours before you actually go to sleep. That's the last time you're going to use the gadget.
Now, being consistent with when you sleep and when you wake up can help in good quality sleep. Now, following a consistent sleep schedule trains your brain to recognize when it's time to sleep and when it's time to wake up. And after several weeks of doing this, you might not even need an alarm. John, for those who have a hard time sleeping at night, can you give them some tips kung paano makasunod or makabuo ng magandang sleep schedule?
If you are a coffee lover or coffee drinker, as much as possible, avoid yung too much caffeine kasi talagang nakaka-distract ng tulog yon. Second, hanggat maaari, if it is possible, before we going to sleep, have a more, feel the more relaxed mood talaga. If it is possible, magkaroon ka muna ng me time for yourself to clear your mind, to clean your thoughts. Because a clear mind helps you to have a very good sleep.
Caffeine in general is not good at night. Now, let's talk about naps because short power naps are beneficial, but long and irregular napping during the day can actually affect your sleep at night. Dr. Mark, inform our viewers about naps. Ano ba yung mas effective na nap? Because ang mga Pilipino mahilig sa siesta time, ano? But what is a good time frame and an effective way of those short cat naps or power naps kung tawagin?
So it's a very good question. I think before we dwell into that, it's important to let our viewers know what are the different sleep stages, no? Because there are at least 4 stages of sleep. The first 2 are what we call the stage 1 or stage 2 sleep, no? And this is usually the time wherein our body has this parang rejuvenation or recharging, no, benefit, no? But if you go into the deeper stages of sleep, like stage 3 or stage 4, no, then most likely you'll be more groggy, you'll be more that feeling of where am I, that symptom, no, if you reach that stage of sleep, no. So when you have naps, the ideal recommendation is at least 15 to 20 minutes of, or at least at most 30 minutes of power nap, because that's a time when you only reach the first 2 stages of sleep. Because once you get to that deeper level of sleep, no, then most likely you'll have problems sleeping in the night, no, and this will also disrupt your sleep pattern in the long run.
Now, aside from these tips, it's good to create a conducive environment for sleeping. So start winding down a couple of hours before going to bed. Dim the lights and put your phone away for the meantime. Others like using essential oils to relax. When we come back, we'll talk about dreaming and how it may be good for our health. We may not remember all our dreams, but everyone dreams about 3 to 6 times per night. And around 95% of dreams are forgotten by the time you wake up. I'm Dr. Freddy Gomez. You're watching MedTalk Health Talk on CNN Philippines. And we're here to build a healthier future for you. The dreams that you remember happen during the REM or rapid eye movement cycle of sleep. And the brain is very active at this point and is similar to actually when you're awake. Now, John, can you explain to us how dreams work?
We dream simply because we focus on some objects or places, tapos we tend to forget, and then randomly it appears to our dream.
Our dreams can be very realistic or even fantastic, lighthearted, or even downright scary, ano? Dr. Mark, I'd like to ask you, what causes this? And does it mean that if we have vivid dreams, that our sleeping cycle, our phases of sleep is healthy?
I think it's important to understand, why we dream, no? And as mentioned, the reason for why we dream, basically it's parang postulated that it helps in memory consolidation and process emotions and everything. So I guess if we have a more experience or more events during that particular day, then it's more likely that the brain will process more information, and therefore during the time where it's what we call the REM or the REM sleep, where dreams usually happen, no, then more processing is being done, and that's this why you get more the vivid dreams is more prominent for these people. There are certain hormones that helps or kind of contributes in terms of getting vivid dreams. No, dopamine is one, and usually if you have more dopamine in the body, you get more vivid dreams.
Now, dreams shouldn't affect sleep, but nightmares can. Now, nightmares are dreams that are scary or even disturbing most often. Now, it can cause you to feel emotions such as fear and anxiety and may continue even after waking up. Dr. Mark, what are nightmares? What causes this? Anong ibig sabihin nito?
Okay. So essentially, nightmares are, again, part of the vivid dream spectrum. It's just that it's kind of disturbing, it's kind of parang unusual, no, or very unrealistic, no, for a particular person. And usually people who are more stressed, who are more anxious, or sometimes people with or people taking certain medications, no, can be more prone to develop nightmares. Most of the time, a real life experience like a traumatic event, no, or as mentioned, a stressful event, no, can actually predispose someone to developing more frequent nightmares. We have a particular part of the brain which we call the amygdala, no, which is your flight or fight response center, no, that kind of becomes very active, no, when you have nightmares, no, and most of the time, if you have nightmares, your body will react to it as well. Your heart rate will be elevated, your breathing will be higher or irregular, no.
Now, John, what can you say about those who believe that dreams are premonitions of things to come?
With that kind of experiences, there's no scientific basis, no? Tungkol doon sa dream na yun na premonition or whatsoever na yun ang sagot. Nightmare or any form of dream is basically created with our mind or with our brain. So walang ibig sabihin na kapag napaginipan mo tong taong ito, nag-cheat, talagang nag-cheat, or pag nakakita ka sa panaginip ng isang tragedy at mangyayari ito. What can I say is, those dreams are just wishful thinking.
Now, Dr. Mark, a lot of these can cause nightmares, for that matter, can cause a lot of anxiety for a lot of people. And sometimes they're afraid to go back to sleep because they're afraid that baka masama na naman ang panaginip nila. So what's your advice? Is it possible to lessen the frequency of nightmares? And if so, how can our viewers do that?
I'm usually asked, paano ba mabawasan yung mga bangungot or nightmares, no? So essentially, you have to follow a consistent sleep schedule, no? We call it sleep hygiene. So basically, you have to get adequate number of hours of sleep, or quality sleep for that matter. At the same time, during the day, no, try to, as we mentioned earlier, get exposed to natural sunlight, so that the natural hormones will not be disrupted. No? And one thing that I always advise is to try to minimize eating, no, or taking midnight snacks, no, maybe a few hours before bedtime. The reason for that is, of course, if you eat, your body gets more energy, and the brain gets more energy for it to metabolize, and in turn, it kind of makes your brain more active while you're sleeping, and this will actually somehow lead to more occurrences of nightmares or sleep disturbances. No, when we do tests called sleep studies, no, we kind of always note that when you're full, no, when you have something, or at least when you ate something a few hours before sleep, no, the brain is really active during the first few hours because of the fact that the energy is being metabolized. At the same time, you can get other medical problems like indigestion or stomach ulcers or the like. No, another important thing to recommend is to get regular exercise, because if you have regular exercise during the day, then your endorphins, your adrenaline are released at that particular day, and during the night, your resting stage, or your sleep is more conducive to rest, no? And that will help limit, or at least reduce the chances of you having some vivid dreams or nightmares.
Now, excessive nightmares, extended vivid dreams, or no dreams at all could all signify an REM disorder. Your health is our mission here on MedTalk Health Talk. Stay with us. Having good sleep affects how we function during the day. Dreams, on the other hand, affects us all differently. I'm Dr. Freddy Gomez, and you're watching MedTalk Health Talk on CNN Philippines, where your care comes first. Having dreams that are cryptic can be very confusing and may make you wonder what they actually mean. John, I'll ask this to you, no? Meron bang mga common themes sa mga panaginip?
The common things in the dreams are the sceneries, okay, the forest, your mga places, like very significant places in your life, like your house, the place where you usually study, or even the church, or something, or even the park. And the common is yung mga taong hindi mo makilala, it usually appears to your dreams. And yung mga taong meron kang somehow common issues or personal issues, why these people are appearing in your dreams. And there are times that we usually connect na if you have someone who just passed away, you believe that when it appears to your dreams, they will ask for prayers or they will just send a special message. So these are the common images that appears in our dreams.
Okay. Now, Dr. Mark, one of the common things also that is found in dreams is that they are falling. Now, is there a biological explanation to this perhaps?
Because when you're sleeping, your muscles are more relaxed. No, the tension of the muscles are down, and it kind of gives you that feeling of being a dead weight. No, of being of no muscle tension, and sometimes that can be interpreted by the brain as the feeling of falling. That's a normal physiology, or that's a normal changes of the body that happens during sleep. But if it becomes very excessive, like it kind of gives you a lot of sleep interruptions during the course of your sleep, then maybe there's something into it that needs to be investigated.
Okay, very good. Now, John, what's your advice para sa ating mga viewers who still might be troubled by what they dream of? Maganda bang kumausap sila sa isang psychologist to help them get a grasp on what they are feeling, what they are dreaming of?
Yeah, if it is a bad dreams, okay, if you experience persistent bad dreams or nightmare, I will probably recommend to seek for medical help, like for a psychiatrist, psychologist, neurologist, to address that kind of issue. Kasi it might have something to do with past experiences, like you might suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder or other mental health disorder or issues that should be addressed properly.
This question was for Dr. Mark, no? So for those of our viewers who are having trouble with any part of their sleep, there's actually what's called a sleep study, which a neurologist is be able to do. Who is recommended to undergo these sleep studies?
Yes, correct. There are certain sleep studies, polysomnographies, and certain tests that we can do for people who have sleep disturbances. So essentially, if you have problems falling asleep, if you have problems maintaining sleep, getting frequent sleep interruptions during the middle of your sleep routine, or if you feel that during the day you have that feeling of you didn't get an actual or a quality sleep and you feel groggy, you feel sleepy, or any symptom like that. And I think it's important to do a sleep study. This is also very recommended for certain types of people who have other medical comorbidities, like for example, hypertension, diabetes, obesity, because they're actually more prone to have an actual underlying medical problem that contributes to the difficulty in sleep. No? And this will be a sleep study will be a very good way to establish any problem during that sleep cycle.
Very good. So it's always good to consult with your doctor for any problems that they may have with regards to their sleep. That was a very interesting conversation, and I'd like to thank you for joining us, neurologist Dr. Mark Anthony Santamaria and clinical psychologist John Carandang. We barely scratched the surface on why we dream. The world of dreams is still widely undiscovered and unknown. Whether you're having vivid dreams or nightmares, dreams have the potential to change your life for the better. Sweet dreams, everyone. I'm Dr. Freddy Gomez, and this is Med Talk Health Talk on CNN Philippines, your partner for a lifetime of good health.